The first of its kind is always a tricky space to be in. You have an idea of where you want to be, but no idea of how to get where you want to go. When you do, you look back and realize everything you did wrong with it, and work hard not to do that again, but it was worth it in the end. I know what it sounds like. Is this guy just talking about himself? And I absolutely am, but that's not why I bring it up. This was actually the situation Nintendo and Game Freak were in the mid-90s when deciding to take a chance on this idea of Pokémon. They went ahead with it, and despite their clear grace in execution, or lack thereof, the games went on to be successful, and the rest is history. In fact, it's even getting a very promising looking movie coming up. So to celebrate, let's take a look back on the beginnings of this franchise and see what they did or didn't do. Ladies and gentlemen, I am SilverTiger, and this is my review of Pokémon Red and Blue. Pokémon was created in the late 90s by one Satoshi Tajiri, forgive me if I just botched that, who had worked selling gaming magazines earlier in life. He wanted to recreate his favorite childhood pastime of insect collecting and share the fun with the world. He wanted to make it for the Game Boy, a new handheld console of its time that he felt would be the perfect place to begin. Since they could connect with each other to play using cables, the games could connect to each other to battle and trade captured creatures with other players. It was an idea originally thought of as weird, but it had a lot of promise. As such, veteran game designer Shigeru Miyamoto invested himself into the project, serving as a form of mentor for Tajiri, and soon enough, Pokémon was born. In 1996, Japan saw the release of Pokémon Red and Green, with the blue version coming later, sporting new art and many glitches fixed. This blue version would be the basis for international releases, and in 1998, North America would get Pokémon Red and Blue. Now I'm making clear right now that I am spoiling this game inside and out. Then again, it's hard to spoil a game that's been out for a little over 20 years. Whatever, let's dive right in. In this world, creatures with special powers called Pokémon inhabit all of the wild. This story is about you, an up-and-coming Pokémon trainer who wishes to catch Pokémon for personal possession and sport battling to establish yourself as the best like no one ever was. And your name is... I'm sorry, I can't read that. How's that pronounced? No, this game allows you to name the main character, one of the perks of having an older game that actually has a save feature. You can name him whatever you want, but canonically speaking, this is Red. You can also name your rival too. His name is technically Blue or Green in Japan, but let's be honest, you know what you're naming this boy. I know what I am. Bring it on, Dickory! Anyways, once you choose your name, you start in Pallet Town, made of 2 entire houses and a lab. When you try to leave because this is hardly a town to begin with, Professor Oak stops you and leads you to his lab to get your first Pokemon. Now, which one?
Dude, you should totally get Charmander. Charmander is the best. Like, if you don't get Charmander,
Excuse
you are completely
me,
disrespecting one of the greatest Pokemon of all time. Like, Charizard is the coolest ever, and, you know, if you don't ever pick him, then, you won't get a Charizard.
Is blue.
You know, like, you just
Fight
can't.
me.
Hey, he looks nice.
No!
Yes. Your rival will always pick the Pokemon with a type advantage to you, and after a useless battle of about 5 turns, you can leave town. You have to come back though to deliver Oak a package with Pokeballs in them. After that, you're given the Pokédex and encouraged to complete it by catching, trading, and evolving Pokemon until you've caught them all. As you go across your journey, you'll battle gym leaders to obtain badges. These give you special perks and greater level caps where Pokemon will obey you, and they let you compete in the Pokemon League. You'll also battle several times against Team Rocket and their leader Giovanni, and deal with your rival whenever he shows up to laugh at you for how bad you are. Don't worry though, he only gets harder if you're lazy. Once you're ready and have all 8 badges, you can enter the Pokemon League and see if you can topple the Elite Four. Upon doing so, you have to compete for the title of champion with you again. One battle later, and the game is done. You can keep playing to catch Pokemon you missed and to check out the special secret dungeon that opens up, but the game is basically over. Well done, random text trainer. You're the best! Now, this is a lot of ground to cover, which makes sense, this is an RPG after all, but the game is very simple to pick up and play. The game is played from a top-down perspective, using the D-pad to go in all 4 directions. You can't move diagonally, but I find the maps to be so small and easy to navigate for the most part that you don't really need the extra movement. You use the A and B buttons to interact with things, and Start opens your menu, where you can check your Pokemon, Pokédex, item bag, and save your game. Select just allows you to move items in your bag to change the order. By walking in tall grass or in caves, you can encounter wild Pokemon, where you can battle them, catch them, or run away, which rarely but sometimes can fail. You can also battle trainers wherever they appear. You can't run or catch their Pokemon, but you can use items to boost your own, switch to new Pokemon on your team, or just keep fighting. You can also get Pokemon as gifts, like your starter, or the fossils you can pick up and revive later in the game. Deal your destruction, long extinct dinosaur! There's also the legendary Pokemon, 4 one-of-a-kind monsters that you can only get one shot to catch in the game, and you need to go out of your way to collect them. So I'm just gonna kill them all! Except Mewtwo. What? I made him in Smash. I'm not on that disrespect. Some Pokemon are even just roadblocks that require items to start an encounter. Now I really don't like how you get past these guys. You have to collect the Sylph Scope from the Rocket Hideout in Celadon City, then backtrack to Lavender Town just to be able to use it. These are 2 Team Rocket encounters necessary to progress, and they're useful items in context of progression, but it feels like padding, especially when getting past the Saffron City guards is much easier at that same point in the game. Just buy a drink item, and you're in. Speaking of items, there are a myriad of them. Along your journey, you can get TM and HM items. These can teach eligible Pokemon new attacks. Be careful though, because TMs are one use only in this game, and Pokemon can learn 4 moves max. HMs are unlimited uses and are permanent, so be wise with them. Future games would add a person that could delete moves to help with the issues that HMs cause in this game. Luckily, most HMs are pretty good. Surf is a great water attack, Fly is strong and protects you for 1 turn, and Strength is just powerful. Flash? Not as good. It lights up caves, but all it does is cut accuracy when you're in battle. That's not much help sometimes. Oh yeah, all HMs are field moves too. Surf lets you cross the water, Fly lets you go to any town you want that you've previously visited, Strength pushes big rocks out of your way, Flash lights up dark areas, and cuts trees. Yeah. Aside from that, your majority of items are healing, fixing status conditions like poison or paralysis or burning, stat enhancers, or Pokeballs of different levels to better catch Pokemon. There are a couple of exceptions that are important to the story at some point, or are just useful, like the bicycle. Pokemon themselves have many different types, and each one is weak to some and good against others. Moves have types too, so it helps to use moves that an opponent is weak to, like Surf against a fire type. But make sure you keep track of PP on moves, because if you run out, you have to refill it with an item or a trip to the Pokemon Center. But if you want my opinion, get a Psychic type. For this generation, and only this generation, they absolutely destroy all other types, and they are pretty busted. Future generations will fix this, but until then, eat this! Satisfying. Upon defeating any Pokemon, all your Pokemon involved in beating it gain experience that goes to leveling up. Leveling up a Pokemon boosts its stats and gives it the chance to learn new moves, or even just straight up evolve into a new species of Pokemon stronger than what you had before. In fact, there are a lot of ways to evolve Pokemon here. You can level up enough, some species evolve by giving them elemental stones, some by trading, and some don't evolve at all. Along your journey, you can locate several important buildings to use, and you'll use them a lot. The Pokemon Center lets you use the computer to store items and Pokemon, and you can also get a full healing there too. Nice. Hey, they're giving me free healthcare for my pets of mass destruction. I'm using it! You can also find shops to buy and sell items, and trust me, you will need some of these items a lot. The differing degrees of Pokeballs helps, because if you try and catch them all, you will have a hard time. Some have crazy low chances of appearing in select areas. Looking at you, Pikachu. Some appear only in specific locations, and a select few are legendary Pokemon that you go out of your way to find, and even further out of your way to catch. It's worth it for now though, because they end up being the strongest beast in the entire game. Now, all of this is common over both versions of the game, but not everything is. The idea of using the Game Boy to play this game stemmed from the idea of trading and battling with other people. As such, to collect and record all 150 Pokemon means you have to do some trading. Pokemon like Machoke and Haunter and Kadabra evolve only by trades, and the games have exclusive Pokemon you can only get in that version. What's that? You wanted Scyther but you ended up buying Blue? Hope you know somebody with Red version, because that's the only place you can get it. But hey, at least you have Pinsir, if that helps any. Or you can just take matters into your own hands and destroy your save file with the many, and I mean many, glitches you can exploit in the game. They come in all types of flavors, such as encountering event Pokemon you were never meant to obtain if you didn't show up, fishing and swimming in statues, fighting the creations of the Abyss, or just entering the Abyss yourself. Wait, what am I even looking at? I can't make any sense of this, and oh, now I can't move. There we go. I'm done. Anyway, when it isn't a garbled mess, the game looks nice. In battle screens, trainer and Pokemon sprites are pretty detailed for their time, while the overworld keeps graphics relatively simple. Unfortunately, I think that can be to its detriment at times. The simplicity of the graphics leads to recycling of sprites for similar dungeons, a common practice at the time. But this makes most areas and caves look exactly the same, and it makes Rock Tunnel a little easy to get lost in. Also, the Seafoam Islands are a total nightmare, especially when you're hunting for specific Pokemon like Articuno. The river currents look no different from the regular water, so you can never tell when you've solved the puzzle. In fact, I think I did it by accident. In the battle screen, some Pokemon art is definitely quirky. But I mean, hey, it can't be too bad. Oh my gosh, what happened to Golbat? Or Wigglytuff for that matter, that's some freaky stuff. Wait, what are any of these? On another note, I really can't stand some of the attack animations. Most of them are just fine, but it's usually electric and psychic attacks that are the worst offenders. On a small screen they would have passed, but if you decide to use an emulator and you put that on a big screen, my eyes. The sound effects with each attack are good too, though I wish they wouldn't take away from the music to make the effect, which happens every time you use the attack. Speaking of music, the soundtrack is pretty good. Most pieces are easy on the ears and set the tone of each place quite well. I love the Champions theme and the battle against the gym leaders or the Elite Four. Other songs are just as catchy, like Route 1 and Cerulean City. Even Lavender Town is pretty fine, if a tad dark or dreary sounding. Although I find the Pokemon Tower theme a bit bland, it does its job just fine. I don't like the Team Rocket hideout theme too much though. It just gets on my nerves, but that could be just me. I'd rather have the remake's updated version, thank you. But I did like the melody being in Viridian Forest, however out of place I think it is. Which is more than a little, by the way. Overall, the music is good and not hard to listen to. Before I go, I should also talk about Yellow. Pokémon Yellow was an updated version of the first generation of games. Though it didn't sport many technical fixes, it had tie-ins to the Young Pokémon anime. This included your only starter being a Pikachu, while your rival got Eevee, battling against Jesse and James in Team Rocket encounters, getting all of the starter Pokémon, and, most importantly, walking with your Pikachu. Yeah, you could walk with him and talk to see how he felt. Several future games would revisit this concept, and they have Yellow to thank for beginning this idea. These games are legendary. The games had a lot of hype and mystique around them when they first came out, partly due to the many bugs that came along with addictive gameplay. In fact, they were hyped enough so as to warrant a sequel when they are perceived to fail. And another, and another, and many more until you're satisfied enough to retire, you maniac. It spawned a long-running TV show, several manga series, and plenty of merchandise. Pokemon is a thriving franchise today, and it owes this success to the first wave of solid games that got it off the ground to begin with. With that said, thanks for watching. I'm SilverTiger, take care of yourself, and have a great day.